Modern Dating and Unrealistic Standards by George Gill. Social media and apps, algorithms amplify extremes. Dating apps and social feeds don't show you average people. They show you the most eye-catching, most liked, most swiped on profiles. So your baseline for normal quietly shifts upward. Curated highlight reels of perfect people. Everyone's profile is a mix of best angles, best moments, and best lines. So it feels like you're competing with a never-ending reel of perfect versions of people, rather than real humans who get tired, messy, and awkward. Global competition versus local community. Instead of mostly dating people in your social circles or your town, you're suddenly comparing yourself to people across the country, or even the world, which makes it easy to feel replaceable or not enough. Marketplace mindset. Treating dating like a ranking system. Apps turn people into a grid of faces with stats. It's easy to start thinking in terms of leagues and tiers, instead of two humans trying to see if they vibe. Comparing stats instead of people. Height, job title, income, follower count. Those become shortcuts that seem like they tell you who's better, even though they say almost nothing about how it actually feels to be with them. Chasing top 1% partners. Because we see the rare, standout profiles constantly, we start thinking we should land that level too, even if our own lifestyle, effort, or luck doesn't line up with that fantasy. Emotional impact. Analysis paralysis from too many options. When there's always another profile to swipe to, it's hard to commit to giving one person a real shot. You stay stuck scrolling, half in, half out. Fear of missing out on someone better. You can be on a date and still be mentally checking your inbox of possibilities, which makes it hard to fully show up and be present. Feeling inadequate or invisible. If you're not getting matches or attention at the pace you see others getting it, it's easy to internalize that as, "I'm not attractive," instead of, "These apps are weird and selective." Women's marry up and success focus. Success orientation, education and career status. A lot of women today have worked hard for degrees and careers, so it makes sense they want someone who at least understands that grind and respects it. Income and financial security. Wanting a partner who can contribute and isn't a financial burden is pretty logical. Nobody wants their romantic life to turn into a long-term bailout. Social status / ambition. It's less about wanting a famous guy, and more about wanting someone who's going somewhere, who has drive, and isn't just coasting. Same level or higher, thinking. Wanting equal or higher success. The idea is, I've built this life. I don't want to step backwards, so dating across or up feels safer than down. Avoiding feeling like the mentor or mother. Many women are tired of being the emotional coach, the career coach, and the therapist. They don't want a project, they want a partner. Seeking stability and future security. It's often less about luxury, and more about not feeling like the whole relationship could collapse if one paycheck disappears. Influences behind this pattern. Culture and tradition. Historically, women were pushed to marry for security. Some of that thinking still lingers in subtler ways. Family expectations. Families may pressure them to choose well, which often translates to pick someone with status or a strong career trajectory. Peer groups and comparison. When friends are dating or marrying high achievers, it can intensify the feeling of, I should be aiming there too. Downsides. Over-filtering good men who are below, on paper. Solid guys get filtered out for things like job titles or degrees, even if they'd be incredible partners in everyday life. Power imbalance. If success is the core glue, if the main thing holding the relationship together is one person's status, the dynamic can slide into control, resentment, or quiet scorekeeping. Shrinking the pool of potential partners. The more narrowly you define acceptable, the smaller your dating world becomes, which increases frustration on both sides. The 666 rule and extreme checklists. Core idea. 6 feet or taller, height becomes this hard filter, even though it has nothing to do with how kind, loyal, or fun someone is. 6-figure income. A specific income band gets treated like a personality trait, as if crossing a certain number magically makes someone a better partner. 6-pack / 6-inch penis, or other physical metric. Bodies become checkboxes, instead of something you experience in real life, with all their uniqueness, imperfections, and changes over time. Meme / semi-serious filter. Started as a joke or meme, it probably began as a tongue-in-cheek shorthand for my dream guy. Repeated in podcasts, videos, and posts. The more it's repeated, the less it feels like a joke, and the more it creeps into actual expectations. Becomes a standard for some. Eventually, people start saying it unironically, or at least using it as a baseline fantasy they compare real men to. Why it's problematic. Ignores emotional traits and character. You can check all 3 boxes and still be selfish, dishonest, or emotionally unavailable. Focuses on external, often rare traits. It's a shopping list aimed at outliers, not at the majority of decent normal men. Filters out the majority before real contact. you never get to test what actually matters, how you feel around him. Because the door closes at the stats level. Consequences. Very small dating pool. By definition, you're only considering a tiny slice of men, then wondering why your options feel limited. Overcrowding around a small group of men. The men who fit those criteria end up massively in demand, which can skew their behavior and the overall vibe of the dating scene. Reinforcing cynicism and resentment. Women can feel like there are no good men, and men can feel like they're being judged only on numbers they can't magically change. The shrinking dating pool effect. Stacked filters. Height filter. Start with only this tall or above, and a chunk of men disappear. Income filter. Add only this income or above, and you slice off another big chunk. Body/looks filter. Then only this kind of physique or face, and you narrow even further. Location, age, lifestyle filters. Finally toss in distance, age bracket, kids/no kids, lifestyle, etc. And the crowd now fits inside a small room. After looks and status, must have good conversation. Once someone clears the surface level filters, now they have to be engaging and fun to talk to. Shared interests and hobbies. Then you want overlapping worlds, so you're not constantly negotiating every activity. Similar life goals and timelines. You're also checking if they want the same big things. Kids, marriage, travel, career focus, on a similar schedule. After compatibility, real chemistry/attraction. Even if everything matches on paper, you still need that we click feeling that can't be forced. Mutual effort and availability. They also need to actually show up, make plans, and have the bandwidth for a relationship. Emotional maturity. And on top of that, you want someone who can regulate their emotions, apologize, and work through problems. End result, tiny fraction of people qualify. Once all of that stacks up, only a sliver of humans pass the full filter set. Many chase the same few partners. A lot of people end up chasing that same small pool, which creates weird dynamics, ghosting, flakiness, inflated egos, perception that there are no good men/women left. It feels like the world is empty, but really the funnel is just extremely tight. Social media's effect on men's expectations. Exposure to extreme beauty, influencer-level looks. Men's feeds are filled with models, creators, and influencers whose entire job is to look amazing on camera. Filters, editing, and angles. Those images are heavily optimized. Lighting, posing, editing. So you're not even comparing real life to real life. Unrealistic reference points. Over time, regular, everyday attractiveness starts to look average, when it's actually perfectly beautiful in the real world. Internalized standards. Average looks feel not enough. A normal, cute woman can start feeling like a downgrade compared to the constant stream of hyper-polished content. Expecting model-tier beauty as normal. Men can unconsciously start seeing that level of attractiveness as the baseline they deserve or should hold out for. Constant comparison to fantasy. Real women who age, bloat, get tired, and exist in 3D are mentally compared to women who live in pre-selected 2D highlights. Behavior changes. Swiping past compatible women. Guys might scroll by women who'd actually be great partners because they're chasing the wow factor of their feed. Always searching for hotter. Even when they match someone attractive, there's this nagging thought, but what if there's someone even more stunning? Overvaluing appearance versus substance. Looks become the main filter, and things like kindness, humor, and reliability get treated like bonuses instead of core requirements. Emotional backlash. Feeling unworthy of the women they desire. Men may want top-tier partners, but feel they don't measure up in money, looks, or status, which hurts their confidence. Resentment toward women in dating. That gap between what they want and what they're getting can turn into bitterness. Women only want X. Dating is rigged, etc. Checking out of dating altogether. Some guys just opt out, either into endless casual scrolling or into full withdrawal from the dating market. Why these standards are unrealistic for long-term love. Weak link to relationship success. Kindness and empathy. Being treated with gentleness and care matters way more day-to-day than height or salary brackets. Communication and conflict skills. How you both talk through disagreements will decide whether you build trust or quietly poison the relationship. Trustworthiness and reliability. Knowing someone will actually show up when they say they will is worth more than any checklist item. Stronger long-term predictors. Shared values. Money, family, lifestyle. If your values clash, how you spend money, how you see family, how you use your time, you'll feel friction constantly. Emotional regulation and stability. Someone who can calm themselves, not explode, and not stonewall under stress is gold for long-term partnership. Willingness to compromise and grow. Relationships last when both people are open to feedback and willing to adjust, not just demand. Compatibility factors, similar energy and expectations. Two people with matching pace and social energy tend to build a smoother, everyday rhythm. Matching life timing and goals. Wanting the same things at roughly the same time matters. Otherwise you keep hitting not yet walls. How you handle stress together. Stress is where the real relationship shows. If you can team up instead of turning on each other, you've got something solid. Both genders' unrealistic expectations. Common patterns in women. Overemphasis on status and success. Some women treat a man's career and lifestyle as the main filter, as if character will just follow. Narrow physical preferences. Height, physique, height, and a certain build become non-negotiable, even though they don't guarantee emotional safety or commitment. Treating men like resumes, not humans. Decisions get made off bullet points, instead of real-life interactions, and how someone actually makes them feel. Common patterns in men. Overemphasis on extreme physical attractiveness. Some men won't even consider women who don't hit their ideal look, regardless of personality. Comparing real women to edited images. Real faces and bodies feel less than when the benchmark is filtered, post content. Treating women like trophies or validation. A partner becomes proof of status, look who I pulled, rather than a genuine teammate in life. Shared dynamics, ego, insecurity, and fear of settling. Both sides fear that choosing someone less than ideal means settling or losing social points. Online echo chambers, reinforcing extremes. Content that bashes the opposite gender or glorifies shallow standards gets rewarded with views, so the extremes get louder. Loss of nuance and empathy. It becomes men are X and women are Y, instead of individual humans with their own stories and wounds. Healthier standards and practical reframes. Clarify non-negotiables, kindness and respect. You can debate preferences, but being treated with basic human decency shouldn't be negotiable. Shared values and life direction. You don't need identical hobbies, but you do need similar views on the big things. Emotional safety and reliability. Feeling safe being yourself and trusting they won't disappear when things get tough is huge. Treat preferences as flexible. Height, income ranges, aesthetics. It's okay to have a type, but hold it loosely enough that you don't miss someone great who's a little outside your usual lane. Nice to have vs must have. Put things like 6 feet 2 inches or creative job in the nice if it happens bucket, not in the gatekeeping bucket. Open to surprise outside your type. Some of the best relationships start with, they weren't my usual type, but we just clicked. Focus on fit over status. Can we do life well together? The core question becomes, does our day-to-day life feel supportive, fun, and sustainable? How you both handle conflict and stress. If you can navigate hard seasons as a team, you're already ahead of most couples. Whether you feel calmer and more alive with them, pay attention to your nervous system. Do you feel grounded and energized, or anxious and drained? Small behavioral shifts give more people one real chance offline. Let some interactions breathe beyond a few photos and one line of bio. Loosen 1 or 2 rigid filters. Even dropping one hard rule can open your world more than you expect. Reflect after dates on how you felt, not just stats. Ask yourself, did I feel safe, seen and light around them? Instead of, did they hit all my criteria? Mindset for dating today. From scarcity to enoughness. Believe there are many good enough partners. You don't need the perfect one. You need someone good enough that you can both build something strong with. Accept imperfection in yourself and others. You're bringing flaws and baggage too, so it's only fair to expect some in the other person. See relationships as co-creation, not acquisition. You're not buying a finished product, you're building something together over time. From entitlement to responsibility. Work on your own emotional skills and stability. You're part of the equation. Your triggers, habits and communication patterns matter just as much as theirs. Ask, would I date me, honestly? If the answer is not yet, that's an invitation to grow, not a reason to give up. Build a life you'd invite someone into. Create a life you like on your own. Friends, hobbies, purpose. So a partner is a bonus, not a rescue plan. From checklists to connection. Stay aware of your biases. Notice when you're dismissing people for shallow or automatic reasons. Keep a short, values-based list. A tiny list of core values is more powerful than a long list of surface traits. Prioritize people who show up consistently over people who just impress briefly. Long-term happiness tends to come from the boringly reliable ones, not just the ones who make a flashy first impression.